A chronological Bible in 365 episodes. This is episode 219, continuing with Daniel 2 and also including Jeremiah 7. Now in the second year of Nebuchadnezzar's reign, Nebuchadnezzar had dreams, and his spirit was so troubled that his sleep left him.
Then the king gave the command to call the magicians, the astrologers, the sorcerers, and the Chaldeans, to tell the king his dreams. So they came and they stood before the king.
And the king said to them, I have a dream, and my spirit is anxious to know the dream.
Then the Chaldeans spoke to the king in Aramaic, O king, live forever. Tell your servants the dream, and we will give the interpretation.
The king answered and said to the Chaldeans, My decision is firm. If you do not make known the dream to me and its interpretation, you shall be cut in pieces, and your houses shall be made an ash heap.
However, if you tell the dream and its interpretation, you shall receive from me gifts, rewards, and great honor. Therefore tell me the dream and its interpretation.
They answered again and said, Let the king tell his servants the dream, and we will give its interpretation.
The king answered and said, I know for certain that you would gain time, because you see that my decision is firm.
If you do not make known the dream to me, there's only one decree for you. For you have agreed to speak lying and corrupt words before me till the time is changed. Therefore tell me the dream, and I shall know that you can give me its interpretation.
The Chaldeans answered the king and said, There is not a man on earth who can tell the king's matter. Therefore no king, lord or ruler has ever asked such a thing of any magician, astrologer, or Chaldean.
It is a difficult thing that the king requests, and there is no other who can tell it to the king except the gods, whose dwelling is not with flesh.
For this reason the king was angry and very furious, and gave a command to destroy all the wise men of Babylon.
So the decree went out, and they began killing the wise men, and they sought Daniel and his companions to kill them.
Then with a counsel and wisdom Daniel answered Arioch, the captain of the king's guard, who had gone out to kill the wise men in Babylon.
He answered and said to Arioch, the king's captain, Why is the decree from the king so urgent? Then Arioch made the decision known to Daniel.
So Daniel went in and asked the king to give him time, that he might tell the king the interpretation.
Then Daniel went to his house and made the decision known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions,
that they might seek mercies from the God of heaven concerning this secret, so that Daniel and his companions might not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon.
Then the secret was revealed to Daniel in a night vision. So Daniel blessed the God of heaven.
Daniel answered and said, Blessed be the name of God forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his.
And he changes the times and the seasons. He removes kings and raises up kings. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to those who have understanding.
He reveals deep and secret things. He knows what it is in the darkness, and light dwells with him.
I thank you and praise you, O God of my fathers. You have given me wisdom and might, and have now made known to me what we ask of you. For you have made known to us the king's demand.
Therefore Daniel went to Arioch, whom the king had appointed to destroy the wise men of Babylon. He went and said thus to him, Do not destroy the wise men of Babylon. Take me before the king, and I will tell the king the interpretation.
Then Arioch quickly brought Daniel before the king, and said thus to him, I have found a man of the captives of Judah, who will make known to the king the interpretation.
The king answered and said to Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, Are you able to make known to me the dream which I have seen and its interpretation?
Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, The secret which the king has demanded, the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, and the soothsayers cannot declare to the king.
But there is a God in heaven who reveals secrets, and he has made known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what will be in the latter days. Your dream and the visions of your head upon your bed were these.
As for you, O king, thoughts came to your mind while on your bed, about what would come to pass after this. And he who reveals secrets has made known to you what will be.
But as for me, this secret has not been revealed to me, because I have more wisdom than anyone living. But for our sakes, who makes known the interpretation to the king, and that you may know the thoughts of your heart.
You, O king, were watching, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose splendor was excellent, stood before you, and its form was awesome.
This image head was of fine gold, its chest and arms of silver, its belly and thighs of bronze,
its legs of iron, its feet partly of iron and partly of clay.
You watched while a stone was cut out without hands, which struck the image on its feet of iron and clay, and broke them into pieces.
Then the iron, the clay, the bronze, the silver, and the gold were crushed together, and became like chaff from the summer threshing floors. The wind carried them away so that no trace of them was found, and the stone that struck the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth.
This is a dream. Now we will tell the interpretation of it before the king.
You, O king, are a king of kings, for the God of heaven has given you a kingdom, power, strength, and glory.
And wherever the children of men dwell, or the beasts of the field and the birds of the heaven, he has given them into your hand, and he has made you rule over them. You are the head of gold.
But after you shall arise another kingdom inferior to yours, then another, a third kingdom of bronze, which shall rule over all the earth.
And the fourth kingdom shall be as strong as iron, insomuch as iron breaks in pieces and shatters everything. And like iron that crushes, the kingdom will break in pieces and crush all the others.
Whereas you saw the feet and toes, partly of potter's clay and partly of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. Yet the strength of the iron shall be in it, just as you saw the iron mixed with ceramic clay.
And as the toes of the feet were partly of iron and partly of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly fragile.
As you saw iron mixed with ceramic clay, they will mingle with the seed of men, but they will not adhere to one another, just as iron does not mix with clay.
And in the days of these kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people. It shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever.
Inasmuch as you saw that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it broke in pieces the iron, the bronze, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great God has made known to the king that what will come to pass after this. The dream is certain, and its interpretation is sure.
Then King Nebuchadnezzar fell on his face, prostrate before Daniel, and commanded, and that they should present an offering and incense to him.
The king answered Daniel and said, Truly your God is the God of gods, the Lord of kings, and a revealer of secrets, since you could reveal this secret.
Then the king promoted Daniel and gave him many great gifts, and he made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon, and chief administrator over all the wise men of Babylon.
Also Daniel petitioned the king, and he set Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affairs of the province of Babylon. But Daniel sat in the gate of the king.
Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold, whose height was 60 cubits and its width 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dora, in the province of Babylon.
And King Nebuchadnezzar sent word to gather together the satraps, the administrators, the governors, the counselors, the treasurers, the judges, the magistrates, and all the officials of the provinces to come to the dedication of the image which King Nebuchadnezzar had set up.
So the satraps, the administrators, the governors, the counselors, the treasurers, the judges, the magistrates, and all of the officials of the provinces gathered together for the dedication of the image that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up, and they stood before the image that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up.
Then a herald cried aloud, To you it is commanded, O peoples, nations, and languages,
that at the time you hear the sound of the horn, flute, harp, lyre, and psalmistry, and symphony with all kinds of music, you shall fall down and worship the gold image that the king Nebuchadnezzar has set up.
And whoever does not fall down and worship shall be cast immediately into the midst of a burning fiery furnace.
So at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the horn, the flute, the harp, and the lyre, and the symphony, with all kinds of music, all the people, nations, and languages fell down and worshipped the gold image which King Nebuchadnezzar had set up.
Therefore at that time certain Chaldeans came forward and accused the Jews.
They spoke and said to King Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever.
You, O king, have made a decree that everyone who hears the sound of the horn, flute, harp, lyre, and psaltery, in symphony with all kinds of music, shall fall down and worship the gold image.
And whoever does not fall down and worship shall be cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace.
There are certain Jews whom you have set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not paid due regard to you. They do not serve your gods or worship the gold image which you have set up.
Then Nebuchadnezzar, in a rage and fury, gave the command to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So they brought these men before the king.
Nebuchadnezzar spoke, saying to them, Is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you do not serve my gods or worship the gold image which I have set up?
Now if you are ready at the time you hear the sound of the horn, flute, harp, lyre, and psaltery, in symphony with all kinds of music, you fall down and worship the image which I have made, good. But if you do not worship, you shall be cast immediately into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. And who is the God who will deliver you from my hands?
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we have no need to answer you in this matter.
If that is the case, our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fire furnace, and he will deliver us from your hands, O king.
But if not, let it be known to you, O king, that we do not serve your gods, nor will we worship the gold image which you have set up.
Then Nebuchadnezzar was full of fury, and expressions on his face changed toward Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He spoke and commanded that they heat the furnace 7 times more than it was usually heated.
And he commanded certain mighty men of valor who were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and cast them into the burning fiery furnace.
Then these men were bound in their coats, their trousers, their turbans, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace.
Therefore, because the king's command was urgent, and the furnace exceedingly hot, the flame of the fire killed those men who took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace.
Then King Nebuchadnezzar was astonished, and he rose in haste and spoke, saying to his counselors, Did we not cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said to the king, True, O king.
Look, he answered, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they are not hurt, and the form of the 4th is like the Son of God.
Then Nebuchadnezzar went near the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spoke, saying, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out and come here. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came from the midst of the fire.
And the satraps, administrators, governors, and the king's counselors gathered together, and they saw these men, on whose bodies the fire had no power. The hair of their head was not singed, nor were their garments affected, and the smell of fire was not on them.
Nebuchadnezzar spoke, saying, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who sent his angel and delivered his servants who trusted in him, and they have frustrated the king's word and yielded their bodies, that they should not serve nor worship any god except their own God.
Therefore I make a decree that any people, nation, or language which speaks anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made an ash heap, because there is no other God who can deliver like this.
Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon.
Continuing in Jeremiah 7, the word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, Stand
in the gate of the Lord's house, and proclaim there this word, and say, Hear the word of the Lord, all you of Judah, who enter in at these gates to worship the Lord.
Thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, amend your ways and your doings, and I will cause you to dwell in this place.
Do not trust in these lying words, saying, the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord are these.
For if you thoroughly amend your ways and your doings, if you thoroughly execute judgment between a man and his neighbor,
if you do not oppress the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, and do not shed innocent blood in this place, or walk after other gods to your hurt,
then I will cause you to dwell in this place, in the land that I gave to your fathers forever and ever.
Behold, you trust in lying words that cannot profit.
Will you steal, murder, commit adultery, swear falsely, burn incense to Baal, and walk after other gods whom you do not know?
And then come and stand before me in this house, which is called by my name, and say, we are delivered to do all these abominations?
Has this house, which is called by my name, become a den of thieves in your eyes? Behold, even I have seen it, says the Lord.
But go now to my place, which was in Shiloh, where I set my name at the first, and see what I did to it, because of the wickedness of my people Israel.
And now, because you have done all these works, says the Lord, and I spoke to you, rising up early and speaking, you did not hear, and I called you, but you did not answer.
Therefore I will do to the house which is called by my name, in which you trust, and to this place which I gave to you and your fathers, as I have done to Shiloh.
And I'll cast you out of my sight, as I have cast out all your brethren, the whole posterity of Ephraim.
Therefore do not pray for this people, nor lift up a cry or prayer for them, nor make intercession to me, for I will not hear you.
Do you not see what they do in the cities of Judah and the streets of Jerusalem?
The children gather wood, the fathers kindle the fire, and the women knead dough to make cakes for the Queen of Heaven, and they pour out drink offerings to other gods, that they may provoke me to anger.
Do they provoke me to anger, says the Lord? Do they not provoke themselves to shame of their own faces?
Therefore, thus says the Lord God, behold, my anger and my fury will be poured out on this place, on man and on beast, on the trees of the field and on the fruit of the ground, and it will burn and not be quenched.
Thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, add your burnt offerings to your sacrifices and eat meat.
For I did not speak to your fathers, or command them in the day that I brought them out of the land of Egypt, concerning burnt offerings or sacrifices.
But this is what I commanded them, saying, obey my voice, and I will be your God, and you shall be my people, and walk in all ways that I have commanded you, that it may be well with you.
Yet they did not obey or incline their ear, but followed the counsels and the dictates of their evil hearts, and went backward and not forward.
Since the day that your fathers came out of the land of Egypt until this day, I have even sent you to all my servants, the prophets, daily rising up early and sending them.
Yet they did not obey me or incline their ear, but stiffened their neck. They did worse than their fathers.
Therefore you shall speak all these words to them, but they will not obey you. You shall also call to them, but they will not answer you.
So you shall say to them, this is a nation that does not obey the voice of the Lord their God, nor receive correction. Truth has perished and has been cut off from their mouth.
Cut off your hair and cast it away, and take up a lamentation on the desolate heights, for the Lord has rejected and forsaken the generation of his wrath.
For the children of Judah have done evil in my sight, says the Lord. They have set their abominations in the house which is called by my name to pollute it.
And they have built the high places of Tophet, which is in the valley of the son of Hinnom, to burn their sons and their daughters in the fire, which I did not command, nor did it come into my heart.
Therefore, behold, the days are coming, says the Lord, when it will no more be called Tophet, or the valley of the son of Hinnom, but the valley of slaughter. For they will bury in Tophet until there is no room.
The corpses of this people will be the food for the birds of the heaven and for the beasts of the earth, and no one will frighten them away.
Then I will cause to cease from the cities of Judah and from the streets of Jerusalem the voice of mirth and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride, for the land shall be desolate.
At that time, says the Lord, they shall bring out the bones of the kings of Judah and the bones of its princes, and the bones of the priests and the bones of the prophets and the bones of the inhabitants of Jerusalem out of their graves.
They shall spread them before the sun and the moon and all the host of heaven, which they have loved and which they have served, after which they have walked, when they have sought and which they have worshipped. They shall not be gathered nor buried. They shall be like refuse on the face of the earth.
Then death shall be chosen rather than life by all the residue of those who remain of this evil family, who remain in all the places where I have driven them, says the Lord of hosts.